I'm going to add one more that is probably the most underutilized strategy of 98% of people that if I asked the question would answer it no. And that is that you should have a strategy on a daily basis. Now you don't have to, it's not has to be, I'm not saying you have to spend hours and hours on it, but you've got to be outbound commenting and engaging with other people just on their content. So the more the algorithms, and this is all to do with how the algorithms work and how you get this visibility, the more the algorithms see you are a two-way player. So you could be putting out the best content in the world. You could be highly engaged, people love it. But if you're not interacting with those people, responding to those people, going out on other people's content and commenting on that, and then the algorithm is still going to punish you because it's oh, you're all just about you. You're not about being a good LinkedIn member.
Welcome to the Property Management Podcast. Thank you so much for having me in your ears. Today we're going to dive into one of the most powerful platforms for business growth in 2025, LinkedIn. And if you've been wondering how to use LinkedIn as a strategic tool to win more business this year, then you're in the right place. I'm so excited to be joined by Adam Houlahan, a LinkedIn expert and the founder of Prominence Global, one of the world's leading LinkedIn agencies. Adam has helped thousands of professionals transform their LinkedIn profiles and strategies to drive real results. And today, he's here to share that wisdom with us. We'll be talking about the 5 weekly activities you need to focus on in 2025 to stand out, build meaningful connections, and win more business on LinkedIn. Adam will break down exactly why LinkedIn is different from other social platforms, and yes, it is, how it's evolving, and why it should be a key pillar in your social strategy. So why LinkedIn? Well, LinkedIn isn't just another social platform. It's actually a platform where professionals connect, collaborate, and create opportunities. It's not about quick trends or viral dances. It's about meaningful, long-term growth. And trust me, when you get your LinkedIn strategy right, it will blow your mind. On a personal note, working with Adam has completely transformed my own approach to LinkedIn. His expertise has made a huge difference in how I position myself, how I connect with others, and how I leverage the platform to grow my business. The improvements I've seen have been incredible, and I'm so grateful for the insights he brings to the table. Oh, and before we dive in, don't forget to grab the free LinkedIn Beginner's Guide, which I've linked in the show notes. This is the perfect resource to help someone who is just getting started, or if you want to work out how to level up your profile and strategy. But if you're ready to unlock LinkedIn's full potential and grow your business using this platform, let's dive on in. Adam, thank you so much for joining me on the Property Management Podcast. Before we dive in, can you share with our audience a little bit about yourself and how you got started doing what you do now?
Hey, Kylie. Yep. Thank you. Lovely to be here with you. And I don't know how far back you want to go on that one, but I'll probably what I actually, believe it or not, how far back I need to go is probably about 16 years. Back then, I was actually running a company for someone else. And of all things, it was an organic skincare company. And what I was doing at that time that leads to where we are today was kind of researching what other businesses around the world were doing that were doing better than what this company was. Now they weren't lightweight, so doing like $1 million a month in online sales in the organic skincare industry. That's just a small to medium-sized business. Anyway, what it turned out, Kylie, was that all these companies, we're talking 16 years ago, were just really good early adopters of social media. And so that piqued my interest about social media from a business perspective, not so much from the social side. In fact, my wife says I'm probably the least most social person in the world. So everything of my presence is from a business perspective. And then the more and more I got into that, the more I just seemed to resonate with LinkedIn. Like, it kind of made sense to me. Back then it was a pretty clunky platform. Many people say it still is, but anyway, I just kind of intuitively got it, understood how to use it. And when I was running this company, It's about midway in my journey. I started my first business 36 years ago. So I'd owned my own businesses prior to that. And I really knew I was always going to go back to that. And so I started this side hustle. Now, this is after about 5 years of that journey and just kind of obviously learnt a lot and I was using the platform very effectively myself. And so I just started this side hustle, just helping companies to have a better presence on LinkedIn and stuff like that. And over a little period of time, it grew to the point where, I just really had to make a decision between remaining the general manager of this online skincare company and this little side hustle that I'd sort of started that was really competing for my time. And so I did that. I made the choice and I jumped over and I left that company and went full in on the LinkedIn side of things. And from there, that was 10 years ago when I made that decision, or almost, we're almost into the 11th year now. And yeah, we grew from, it was just me with one awesome team member in the Philippines that was helping me out at that time to now we're one of the largest and most recognized LinkedIn agencies in the world.
That's amazing. I love that you've started from that little side hustle. I've also started this business that I'm doing from a side hustle. And again, coming from that good place as well of just trying to help others with a problem and coming up with a solution to help them. So that's awesome. And you're right, LinkedIn can be a little bit, I don't know whether it's overwhelming. I just think it's the objectives of it are not as clear as something like Instagram or Facebook. So, and I want this to be more of an advanced lesson because I've got some other lessons on here of, how to set up your profile and that sort of stuff on the podcast. But if someone was starting out on LinkedIn, and I guess I just want to get an overview and let's use my audience as an example of this. Someone wants to get set up on LinkedIn. They're management business owners, property managers, or they're real estate business owners. How should they be using LinkedIn for their business?
Yeah, it's the $1 million question, isn't it? And just to cover off on why it's not as intuitive and simple as, say, Instagram or Facebook or something like that, is because it's actually multifaceted, meaning that, there's different ways you can use LinkedIn, job search as an example. Started out, it was just a place to have your resume and that type of thing. But now it's very much evolved into a real business tool. And also, one of the big challenges is how fast it keeps moving. So, someone that's you can say, oh, look, I've been on LinkedIn for whatever, 5 years, 10 years. The thing is, if you're still doing now what you were doing 5 years ago, it's moved past you in such a big way. So really the key way to use LinkedIn now is to align with LinkedIn's goals, meaning understand what they want out of the platform. And if, it's kind of like, think of it like working with them or working against them. You're up against a massive beast with a billion people, the might and power of Microsoft behind them. So which battle's going to win? Not the one working against them, that's for sure. So the way that we need to work with them is to understand what's the outcome they're looking for. It's not that they want, it is now. They've achieved it. That LinkedIn is the place that we come to for, connecting with, business level people with business objectives, but also where we're looking for and then consuming really high value content. It's not the place to be putting, hey, what I did on Australia Day as an example or stuff like that. Certainly Instagram and other platforms fantastic for that. That's what they're there for. But LinkedIn doesn't want that type of content. And just the thing to understand is that, with the rapid advancement of AI, LinkedIn's put most of their resources internally with AI more so than external, meaning as in how you or I might use AI on the platform. It's how they now use AI to classify your content. So if you're putting out that type of, Australia Day content, let's just say, then it classifies it very easily as such and algorithmically punishes the heck out of it so it doesn't get much visibility. The content that they really elevate is, the stuff where you're, to put it in as simple as terms as I can make it, it's the content that positions you as the leading authority in your industry. So in property management or real estate or whatever, it is. But the more you can also niche into that, the more powerful it will be. Because you can imagine even something like property management or real estate, there's a massive variation of what you could be an expert in those industries. So the more you can drill into one specific thing, the more powerful you can position yourself, where the algorithms kind of understand what you're doing and give you some, the attention you deserve, let's just say.
So for example, if you wanted to niche into working with buyers agencies,
Correct.
or if you wanted to niche into working with builders and developers.
Absolutely, exactly that. I'll give you a good example, aligned with your industry, but not exactly in it. So a client of ours is a mortgage broker, and she's been working with us for, gosh, I think like 8 years. And she owns one of the franchised, mortgage brokerages. So there's nothing more vanilla than that. So how she's positioned herself on LinkedIn is she's become the leading authority for female business owners or leaders buying their first investment property. So now, instead of just talking about mortgages and things, which is, dime a dozen, she has this very specific niche that she talks about and positions herself about. Obviously that then determines who she's connecting with and interacting with, and it's been working gangbusters for her for 8 years straight now. Now that doesn't mean to say that her mortgage business doesn't do work with men. Of course she does, and doesn't do all forms of mortgages. But just from her LinkedIn presence, she has this very niche positioning.
That's amazing. That's great advice. Now, can we dive a little bit deeper? And so we've identified, why we should be on LinkedIn, and niching is very important, which, and if somebody wants to learn how to set up and stuff, they can go back and listen to previous episodes on here. But what are the 5 weekly activities that you need to be focusing on in 2025 to win more business on LinkedIn? Because it's one thing to be here, but we all also want to be in that lead generation and converting new clients in everything that we do, really.
Exactly.
Are you feeling overwhelmed and thinking about selling your rent roll? Don't worry, you're not alone, and HDNU is here to help. Whether you're ready to sell now or you just want to plan for the future, the friendly and approachable team at HDNU makes the process simple and stress-free. Hello, yes please. With over 30 years of expertise, they're not just about crunching the numbers. They genuinely care about helping you maximize your agency's value and get the best outcome for you. Their sales readiness bundle is like having a trusted advisor by your side. They'll work closely with you to assess your agency's key factors, create an easy to understand heat map of your strengths and opportunities, and then sit down with you for a 90-minute workshop to guide you on what to do next. They'll look at everything from rent roll earnings and rent arrears to compliance and team performance and explain it all in plain English. If you're planning to sell soon, HDNU can even handle the whole process for you, from finding qualified buyers to negotiating the deal. Their friendly, professional team takes the stress out of selling so you can feel confident every step of the way. And to get started, simply book in a meeting with the team today. Their link is in the show notes. They're here to help you move forward with confidence. If you're ready to be a super organised, focused and productive property manager, buckle up, because Colmio is about to revolutionise the way that you work. Colmio is the driving force behind property management excellence in residential real estate. Now picture this, a comprehensive end-to-end system designed to be the beating heart of your property management tasks, manage your properties, owners and tenants, and handle payments, inspections, and even marketing listings without leaving the platform. Colmio is designed to be an all-in-one solution to all your property management needs. And here's the game changer. Colmio isn't just software. It's been awarded the most innovative PropTech Scale Up in 2023. Yes, you heard it right. Colmio has been recognised for their groundbreaking approach to property management software. How good is that? So property managers, whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, dive into the future of property management with Colmio. You can book in a demo with the team today and go in their weekly draw for a Prezi gift card worth $100. All you need to do is to head to the link kolmeo.com/thatpropertymum, and Kolmeo is KOLMEO.
So yeah, you're right. And you know what, Kylie? 2025 is going to be a very pivotal year. It's the shift has already started. It's a fair way down the path, but the biggest quantum leap is going to happen. I'm crystal balling here, but I'm going to say
Go
in
for
about
it.
the third quarter of 2025. And what that shift is going to be is from, what you can do on as a, with a free account to becoming almost like Meta, a pay to play type of a platform. And so you need to be ready for that. You need to start doing, some stuff now to maintain the value that you're going to get. Now, the big takeaway here is already having just a free account, you are so far behind what anyone with a premium subscription can do. Good example of that, which is one of the daily activities you should be doing, is connecting with people. Now, on a free account now, you can only connect with 5 people per month, where you can like add a message as to why you're connecting, which is the only way you should ever send a connection request. On a premium account, premium subscription, that's you go from 5 a month to 200 per week. So that's how far backwards you're going if you're trying to compete against premium accounts now. So, of course, one of those activities that you should be doing every day is finding and connecting with people, not from the point of view, obviously, that you want to sales pitch them. Of course, that's the underlying thing that you're building your network around. But yeah, you really need to, if you haven't already got a big network of the right type of people, then you need to start now to be too ready. The second thing, of course, is around content. So you've got to be putting out content that we already talked about positions you as the leading authority in your industry and as niched as possible to get traction. So that, but from a point of view, that content is going to algorithmically be seen by those new people you're connecting with. So it has to be high enough value that it's showing those people that you're the leading authority within whatever it is that you want to be known for. And then, not from the point of view that content shouldn't be sales pitch style content, should be what they call thought leadership style content. And then the idea being that you want to be just top of mind. These people that you're connected with, the algorithms are going to make sure that they're seeing your content in their feeds for a period of time, so that when you do get to the point where it is time to reach out to those people about a next step or something, then they go, oh yeah, okay, I know who Kylie is. Oh, I've seen her content. I like what she talks about. So yeah, I'm open to looking at what something a next step might look like, as opposed to, you can imagine, if you've never been sharing any content, you've just been building these connections, and out of the blue you randomly say, hey Adam, interested in buying a property today, give me a call. Well, I'm like, who's this person? I don't know them. What are you talking about? So yeah, you've got to be creating content that is designed to keep you top of mind to people. And then when you do reach out to them, it's a next step that they see of value. So it's not, hey, are you interested in buying a property today? Because there is no filter on social media. Now, yes, in say SEO or Google Ads or stuff like that, you can target people who might, be searching for stuff like that. But in your general social media, it's rare that you know who is or isn't, in the market for something. So you've just got to be top of mind. So when they're ready, they reach out. They, oh, I know, hey, I know Kylie. I've seen her on LinkedIn all the time. I need to talk to her. And then, but you can, increase the volume of that. But and I'm not saying that this is the only way. I'm just using it as an example. So it might be that you're inviting them to an event, which could be a webinar. It could be an event you're hosting in your offices, or whatever it might be. But it's where the idea is to move them off LinkedIn into your world off LinkedIn. So the more you can move people off all social media, to be honest, but it's very specifically on LinkedIn, and either say into your CRM or at least into your world, then the better. And I'll give you a quick example of that. Again, not in any way related to your industry, but the content is the same. So one of the clients we've worked with is a jeweler, believe it or not, and he's based in Brisbane in the Queen Street Mall, and so he has been consistently connecting with people that are within a 50-kilometre radius of the Brisbane CBD, because he knows people are not going to travel further than that to come to him. And then every month or so, he puts on these events in his showroom. They're like a Scotch appreciation night or a champagne night or a beer night. They're always
Can you
based
get
on
me an
alcohol.
invite?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're good, believe me. And then so his strategy is just to reach out and say, "Hey, Kylie, I'm hosting an event in our showrooms next week with Shandon Champagne. I'm going to have one of their team there explaining how it's made, whatever. Would you like to come?" So that's his strategy. It's just to move you off LinkedIn and into his world. So that's what the key, you've got to be doing. I'm not saying that's a daily thing, but you've got to have a strategy around moving people, nice way where they go, oh, I see value in that. Our strategy is a webinar. So we move people off LinkedIn and into a webinar. And then from there, we just kind of do our thing. So there's some of the key things. And the other one, I'm going to add one more that is probably the most underutilized strategy of 98% of people that if I asked the question would answer it no. And that is that you should have a strategy on a daily basis. Now you don't have to, it's not it has to be, I'm not saying you have to spend hours and hours on it, but you've got to be outbound commenting and engaging with other people just on their content. So the more the algorithms, and this is all to do with how the algorithms work and how you get this visibility, the more the algorithms see you are a two-way player. So you could be putting out the best content in the world. You could be highly engaged, people love it. But if you're not interacting with those people, responding to those people, going out on other people's content and commenting on that, and then the algorithm is still going to punish you because it's oh, you're all just about you. You're not about being a good LinkedIn member, if that makes sense.
That's awesome. I have wondered that because I've noticed on Instagram and Facebook lately, and some of the bigger marketers that I follow, their engagement is really down. There's not a lot of comment. And so the algorithm on LinkedIn does reward you for that engagement element as well. And one of the things I wanted to ask you, so if somebody comments on your post, should you respond to that post as well? Is that considered engagement?
Yes, but that's still 100% yes. You should always, as much as possible. Now, in fairness, there's some. I'm going to just put them under the term thought leaders. They get thousands of people that kind. Is it possible for them to go and respond to every single one? Probably not. But look, 99.9% of people don't have that level of engagement on their content. You might have 5 or 10 or 20. Can you respond to that many people? Of course you can. So the more, yes, that you respond to those people, but the real difference is, often if I ask that question, people say, oh, yeah, if someone comments, I reply, which is great. I say, okay, but how many times do you go out and be the commenter on other people? Oh, no, I don't really do that. It's the force multiplier. If you actually do that, then your content gets higher visibility as well.
And I don't understand though. There's so many stalkers out there, but not a lot of engagement. And and sometimes when you don't have a lot of engagement on your own posts, you can sort of start questioning, am I wasting my time? Is this worth it? But again, I think you're right. It all comes down to that strategy, and it's a long-term strategy, not necessarily that short-term strategy. So can we just go back a little bit into the content? And I'm curious for myself because since I did one of your workshops last year, I've really started working on a LinkedIn strategy, and I've been trialing different and checking the analytics and seeing what's resonating and what's not. So video content. Should you be using video content on there, and what works well? Let's start with that first, and then we can, or you can give us and I'm curious about video content, but give us an overview of the content that resonates and works well, and most importantly, that the algorithm is rewarding you on.
Yeah, look, it's a great question, and look, I'm going to answer it a bit broader and then come back to your question. The question that really should ask is, what's the best content strategy? The best content strategy is a mixture of all video, status posts with images, polls, newsletters, all the 7 different versions of content styles that you can use on LinkedIn. And the most consistent long-term strategy should be using all of those. Now, on that basis, you have to look at a content strategy over a month as a minimum, not over a week, because you can't, again, the second part of that question is how often should I post? And that I'm going to be fair in my answer on that, even though I'm asking my own question, Kylie, is you can ask 10 different experts and get 11 different versions of this answer. I believe that the best cadence of content is about 3 times per week. Now, I know algorithmically you can share up to 5 times per week. Once you go beyond 5, or if you ever post twice on the same day, then you're definitely going to see a decrease in your overall impressions over a period of time. The reason why I say 3 is because, remember, all this content has to be high level, high value, thought leadership positioning. It's really hard to create more content than that. Even, okay, yes, if you're working with someone like us and you've got access to really qualified copywriters and whatever, you can produce as much as you like. But the reality is about 3 times for most people is ideal. Now, coming back to the video side of it, I believe video is the most important, even though it should never be the only thing you share. The reason why video is important and why it gets good traction is because you can be putting out all this great level thought leadership content as you like, but video allows people to, it's the windows to you. They get to really see you, what you're really about, what you like, whether they really resonate with you or not. So yes, video is super important. And, I would always say, somewhere between 2 and 4 videos per month is roughly, as a guideline, not a rule. And there's 2 different types of video content now. So there's the standard that you've probably been seeing for years. And now there's also now what they call the new vertical format videos that are completely optimized for, mobile phones. And this is quite new. It's only been out for a couple of months now. And they are certainly getting, really good traction right now, which is not to say rush out and change everything to vertical video, because what always happens when LinkedIn releases something new content-wise is, of course, they give it higher levels of visibility because they want to get it out there that, this new piece of content, new content style is around. So, that will come backwards at some point back to the same level as everything else. But if you said, what's the most, the content that's going to get me the highest level of visibility right now, number 1 is vertical video. And believe it or not, number 2 is newsletters.
Yep. Perfect. So I'm glad you addressed that, because I experimented with more of a mindset reel type video last week on LinkedIn. I haven't checked my metrics yet to see how it went. I was really hesitant to put it up there, and I questioned myself, is this the right place for this? And it was kind of me dancing with, but it was a real mindset and a new year mindset sort of post. There was strategy thought behind it. And I have been doing, since again your workshop, putting a lot more effort into getting a monthly newsletter out there as well. And that's been going really well. And I think for me, that's where I'm putting a lot of my thought leadership into that content. Is that the right sort of strategy for the newsletter?
Yeah, 100%. So now another interesting thing is, up until very recently, you could only have 1 newsletter on your profile. Now you can have as many as you like. So, if and often I get asked the question but I have 2 businesses, or, I have these 2 niches that I want to promote, how do I promote 2? And the answer was always, well, you just got to pick 1. I still believe that's actually the better strategy. However, you can have, if you have multiple newsletters, you can have, one all around one area of expertise and another all about something, aligned, but, slightly different. Because, as you know, one of the real values of newsletters is people can actually subscribe to the newsletter by choice, which means, and why they get this good traction is that when someone subscribes to your newsletter, it's telling LinkedIn they're clearly interested in your content. So it's number one, it's guaranteed to come up in their feeds whenever you post it. LinkedIn on your behalf sends them a email to say, hey, Kylie's just released a newsletter and a link to it. And of course, it goes into their LinkedIn notifications. So that's why it's getting so much more traction, because no other content gets that level of promotion by LinkedIn. So yes, definitely the place you put your best thought leadership stuff.
Amazing. Adam, how can somebody work with you and your team a little bit closer? Because working with you sort of changed my whole thought process around LinkedIn and saves you a lot of time. That's what I think working with coaches and experts in specific areas saves you a lot of time working this stuff out all on your own. So, and I know you've got an assessment that you were going to share with our audience as well.
Yeah, so we've created a quick little assessment. Just takes you 4 or 5 minutes to fill out, and I'll share it with you, Kylie. You can share it with in the show notes and everything as well. And it'll just give you a ranking of how well you're doing. There's essentially four parts of a LinkedIn strategy, which is profile, content, connection, and conversion. So it breaks it into those four parts, and it gives you a ranking of how well you're doing in all of those parts. And if you're kind of good in one area and a little weak in another, then it'll give you resources. Hey, if you need help, here's some resources to help you with that. So over 4,000 odd people now have just used that assessment alone just to improve what they're doing on LinkedIn. So that's like a step one. But as you said, look, everything changes so quickly, and you're working with us, you know, you're getting the information, as quickly as it happens. So obviously, I have a live session I run with all of our clients around the world once a month, and we're always talking about. So like what we're talking about now with these changes that's coming in 2025, our clients have been across that for the last 3 months, because we said, hey, this is what's coming, here's how we're adjusting to be ready for that, this is what's going to happen when it gets there, that type of thing. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why you want to do that. Now, just to be really clear, we're a niche agency as well, as we sort of practice our own teaching, and so we don't work with everybody on LinkedIn. As I said, there's multiple things you can do on LinkedIn. Our specialty is working with the founder or the CEO or the most significant person within an organization to position them as that thought leader, and then use that to generate leads. So what I mean by that is we don't really work with sales teams and things like that just mainly using the platform for pure lead generation. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. It's just not the niche we operate in.
Amazing. So how can our audience connect with you further? What's the best place? I'm assuming LinkedIn.
Yeah, so two things. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. Make sure that if you do, put a little note there, say, hey, I saw you on Kylie's podcast, or whatever you want to do. Or, of course, you just go to our website, prominence.global.
Amazing. Adam, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. I love all the value that you share, and I will certainly be reaching out further for some more support this year. Oh, actually, sorry, I have one more question. I had a menopausal moment a minute ago. I was going to ask you the premium. I wanted to ask you, so what does that cost? Is there different levels of that? Where should we start?
So again, if your underlying sort of outcome you want is lead generation, which I'm assuming is most of your listeners, is there's only one that you want to get, which is Sales Navigator. Now, as far as cost goes, off the top of my head, it's roughly $125 a month. Now, if you pay annually in advance, you get a big discount on that, which is what we always do. But yeah, if you're just paying monthly, and look, if you're just getting started, I'd probably do that. Yeah, only the one is Sales Navigator, and there's what's called Sales Navigator Core and Sales Navigator Advanced. So again, to start with, just run with Core. Advanced, to get the value out of that, you really would need to work with someone like us to justify the additional expense of that one.
And can you run paid ads as well? Is that different to paid ads? Is paid ads on top of that?
Yeah, so that's nothing to do. So paid ads can only be done from your company page, not from your personal profile. However, Kylie, that's one of the big changes coming in 2025, later in this year, is where you will be able to put some budget behind your own personal posts in a certain way. But yeah, paid ads, completely different beast.
Okay. And actually, maybe, do you want to share any more of the changes that are coming in 2025 that would be of value to our audience?
Well, yeah, it's to be completely open, it's really around reality that LinkedIn is moving away from being a free platform, which, it has been for years. And so I know a lot of people are upset that when I share this, say, oh, but why do I now have to pay? I've had everything for free for so long. I said, well, just be thankful you've had it for free for so long. LinkedIn is a business at the end of the day. So it's the shift that's already started towards pay to play. And I believe by the latter part of this year that it'll be almost impossible to do much on a free account. You're going to, one, have to move to these premium accounts. You already do right now, to be honest. But even further, which is with what's coming around this ability to put budget behind your own personal posts, that's going to be the real game changer, which will almost also mean that the amount of organic impressions you're getting on your content obviously is going to start to go down and down to make way for the fact that, hey, you want the real high levels of impressions. One, you've got to be sharing the right type of content, because one of the things that I believe is coming, you can't just boost anything. It's going to have to meet a certain criteria before you can even put budget to it. So that's the one thing. That's the thing we're already showing our clients, hey, move to this now. You might as well just be here now, because down the track, nothing else is going to make any traction anyway. And then two, you're probably going to have a little bit of a budget you put towards your content every month.
Amazing. Thank you, Adam. You've shared so much value. Please, anyone listening, if you want to reach out and work with Adam, the links will all be in the show notes. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks, Kylie. It's been a pleasure.
Can I ask you a quick favour before you leave this episode? Now, we all know how important reviews are for businesses these days, and mine is no different. If you could spare just a minute to follow, rate and review this podcast, it would mean a lot to me. In fact, what would get me super excited is if you share this podcast with someone in the industry who you think might need to hear some of the episodes right now. And if you'd like to find out more about working with me or any of the products I have to help you start, grow or scale your property management business, head to my website, thatpropertymum.com.au, or check out the links in the show notes.